Hey, what is up, Aquamigos? How are you guys doing today? Happy Fish Friday, where I will be uploading new fish videos every Friday. I hope you guys are all doing well, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up a sponge filter, as well as explain to you guys how a sponge filter works. So in case you didn't see my last fish video from last Friday, let me just explain really briefly what I got going on here. So the weather here in Los Angeles, California, where I live, the temperature started dropping pretty drastically, and I had a ton of guppies outdoors in my pool pond, so I needed to get them out of there. So what I did is I restocked my 15-gallon tank that I had in here, which was completely empty. This is where I used to have my guppies before I put them in the pool pond. And then I had so many guppies that I actually had to set up this bin right here, and I didn't have a filter for them. So what I did is I put these pond plants in here to act as filtration, and they actually did a pretty good job. It's been about 4 days now. I just checked the parameters, and the ammonia levels in this bin right here are at about 0.50, which isn't great, but it's really not bad considering that there is no filter in here and all the filtration is being done by these plants. And there are about 20 guppies in here. This is about a 17-gallon bin. At least that's what I'm estimating, that there is about 17 gallons of water in there. And then over here in my 15-gallon, the ammonia levels are at about 0.25 parts per million. And that is because the filter in here, of course, was a bit established before I put the guppies in there. So that one's actually doing pretty well. And it has a ton of algae, which of course is also eating up that ammonia, nitrites, nitrates. So right here, I actually got these in the mail today, and they actually came really early. I only had to wait like 2 days for them. So in here, I have a sponge filter in here, another sponge filter in there, and then this air pump right here. And to set up a sponge filter, you're going to need some kind of sponge filter like I have in here, and you will also need an air pump, something like this. You don't need these exact ones, but just something like that. These were about $6 each, and this was about $16, and it has 2 nozzles, so you can have 2 sponge filters running off this one pump. So let's just go ahead and unbox these, and I'll show you what they look like. Alright guys, so this is what we're looking at. So these are the actual sponge filters right here. These go up here like this. And what happens is you get the air tubing. The pump will come with air tubing actually. If not, you'll need air tubing for this. And pretty much what you do is you plug the air tubing into one of these 2 little nozzle things that you see right there, those 2 white things. You plug the air tubing into that, and then the other end of the air tubing, we could take, these things off for this part. The other end of the air tubing you plug into that little nozzle right there on top of the sponge filter. So pretty much what happens is that the air pump will be pumping air right into here through the top of the sponge filter like that. And then when the air comes out from inside, let me see if I can take this off actually. Okay, so I was actually about to take this apart, but then I was afraid I was going to break it. But pretty much the way it works is that air is pumped through here, it goes down, and when the air comes back up, it is bringing water with it. And the air will actually bubble out of the top of here. And what happens is that when that air is coming out, it's bringing out water with it, and that water is being sucked in through the sides of this plastic thing. I don't know what you call this. I guess the core of the filter. And of course, that water has to pass through the sponge to get there. And the sponge is where all that beneficial bacteria is going to grow, as well as like catch small debris and stuff. So that's basically how a sponge filter works. It's actually pretty simple. And guys, just really quick before I go ahead and do that, if you guys like this video, or if this video helps you out, I would really appreciate it if you went down there and gave this video a like. That would help me out so much. And also, if you'd like to see more videos by me in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notifications button, and let's go ahead and get started. And I will start by just going ahead and rinsing some of this stuff off. So next I'm going to go ahead and set up this air pump. And the thing about this air pump, guys, is I'm just going to tell you how the instructions say to do it. The instructions say that you need to have the air pump higher up than the water level of your tank. I don't know if that's just because, so the air pump, I'm sure it probably has to work a little harder if it's sending the air from like here over the top and then in, instead of, straight down from above the tank. Or if that's just a precaution in case the tank leaks and then the air pump gets wet and like shorts or something. I don't really know the reason for it having to be above the water, but that's what the instructions say. That's the way you should do it. However, I'm not going to do it the way the instructions say. I'm just going to go ahead and put it over here on top of the box that it came in, so at least it's a little high up. Next, I'm going to cut the air tubing in half because I need 2 pieces because I'll be hooking up 2 sponge filters. Also, this heater in here, it doesn't work anymore, so I'm going to take that out. I did order a few new aquarium heaters, so I'm going to be replacing that. And next, I'm going to attach the air tubing to the sponge filters. And now we're going to go ahead and attach the air tubing to the air pump. And that's pretty much it, guys. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put these into the aquarium bin. I'm going to plug in this air pump, and then I'm going to figure out like what kind of airflow I want. You can adjust it with this knob right here. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much all you do. When you want them to sink down to the bottom, just squeeze the sponges so that they fill with water and then they'll sink right down. And just by looking at it, I'm getting a little too much bubbles, so I might go ahead and take one of these out and just have one in there. Alright guys, so I ended up taking one of the filters out. I have the pump like that on the lowest setting. It's turned all the way to the left. And then I kept this sponge filter in here. I put it kind of near the top of the surface so it's not creating quite as much agitation on the surface of the water. Like, some agitation is good, but I feel like it was creating like way too much. But yeah, that is pretty much how you set up a sponge filter. So I would have gone with one of these like aqua clear filters like I have up here. I have another one of those on my 20-gallon tank, and I really like that filter. And then what I do with these aqua clear filters is I put like a little pre-filter sponge on the intake valve, that way so that fry, like if guppy fry are born in the tank, they're not sucked up into the filter. But the reason that I kind of didn't do it is because then I would need to have the water level of this tub a bit higher, or else the water just makes a lot of noise. So that's kind of why I decided to go with a sponge filter. But just as a warning, guys, like, these things do make quite a bit of noise as well, so I'm not 100% satisfied just because like the amount of noise it makes, but at the same time I think it was probably my best option. If I can figure a way to dampen the sound of the pump, then this setup will be perfect. So my aquarium heater should be showing up in about 3 days, I believe. So I'll show you guys that. It's already dark outside, so I can't show you the pool pond, but I will show you the pool pond in this video. In my last fish video, I put my dojo loach into the pool pond, and today he finally, I guess, got comfortable and actually came to the surface and ate and was swimming around. It was cool to see him doing that. So I will definitely show you guys that in this video as well. So I'm gonna put the camera down for tonight, but I will be picking it back up in about 3 days. Hey, what's up guys? So it's actually 2 days later and my aquarium heaters actually came. They came like a day or no, they came like 2 days early. They arrived yesterday. I didn't set them up yet just because like our temperature has been like pretty warm. It was like 91 degrees yesterday. So here they are, guys, but I just want to show you guys the ammonia levels really quick. I just checked them again. It's been 2 days since the last time I've checked them, so let me show you real quick. So right here on the left, this is the ammonia levels of the aquarium tub on the left. And once again, it is a little darker on camera, but it's at 0.5 parts per million. And this one on the right, it looks like it's still at 0.25 parts per million. Although it does look very yellow, but it does have a slight green tint to it, so I'm gonna say it's 0.25. It's not exactly at 0 yet. Then over here, I put the air pump on top of this towel, and it actually kind of makes it a little bit quieter. It's not completely quiet, still makes a little bit of noise, but it was much quieter than having it on top of like a box or like a solid surface. So that helped a little bit. And then I actually did go ahead and set up the other sponge filter over there. I did the same thing like I did with this one. I put it kind of near the surface of the water so it didn't create too much surface agitation. But yeah, we are still at 0.5 parts per million in here of ammonia. If it got any higher, or if it does get any higher, I'll have to do something about it. But for right now, I think that's like not that bad. And actually check this out, without a heater, this is without a heater. We're at November 1st. And the water temperature is, you know, the mid to high 70s. Inside this room, the temperature is like 80 degrees. It was a little hotter, but I actually just turned the air on, so it's slowly getting cooler. And that is without a heater, and it is the beginning of November. The weather is just all over the place over here. By the way, guys, when I set this up, the first day that I set this up, I did add API Quick Start just to add some beneficial bacteria to jumpstart that cycle. So hopefully that'll help a little bit. It takes a long time to get, new filters established. So I'm not like expecting any miracles like overnight, But we have those plants to supplement their filtration. So I think that'll help a ton. So yeah, let's go ahead and open up these heaters. Alright, cool guys, so they're all exactly the same. I just want to open all of them just to make sure that there's like no damage to any of them. They are on a thermostat, so you can set the temperature to like whatever you want. So I'm just gonna go ahead, rinse one of these off. I'll stick it in here. It's good that I don't actually need it right now, but it's good to be prepared for when I do need it. I think the end of this week, we're gonna see the temperature dropping a lot. Alright guys, so I went ahead and plugged the heater in. That'll start to kick in, whenever it needs to. Alright guys, so that's that. And also guys, I just wanted to mention, there are still a few guppies up in the pool pond. I don't know exactly how many. I'm estimating that there's probably gonna be like 10 or so. So I actually do want to get those guys out. I'm not gonna do it today. I'm gonna wait till I set up the 20-gallon aquarium, which I will be doing within the next probably 2 or 3 days. I actually want to make an entirely separate video on how to sterilize an aquarium, because I want to sterilize this whole thing before I make it into a guppy tank, and that will be its own video entirely. So I will be doing that before the end of the week, and I will be getting those guppies out of the pool pond before we see the temperatures drop again like they did last week. And really quick, let's just go ahead and feed these guys. I've been feeding once a day. Here you go, little guppies, come and get it. Alright guys, so I'm going to pick this back up once I have my 20-gallon ready. Alright guys, so it is a couple days later. By the way, if you want a shirt with my face on it, the link is in the description below. But as you can see right here, my 20-gallon is nowhere near set up, but I did go ahead and sterilize it already. I made an entire video on how I did that. That video will be posted next Friday, but I sterilized the whole thing. I just had it out here so it could dry and everything, and make sure that it's safe for the fish again. But one of the main issues is that if you look in here, this is the motor for my AquaClear filter, and I lost the little, I believe they call it an impeller. I lost the little impeller that goes in there. I have no idea where it is. I looked everywhere, so I have to order a new one of those, as well as a couple other things. Like, I'm going to go ahead and have to order like new filter media. I have to throw the old media out. It's just, there's no way that this is going to be like safe for the fish again, so I'm just gonna have to throw that out. And I still do need to get the rest of the guppies out of the pool pond. There are still some in there. I'm estimating that there's probably like, I don't know, maybe 10 or so. Let's just go ahead and get those out right now, because the temperature will be dropping pretty drastically again by the end of the week, so I want to get that done. Alright guys, so that's how many I was just able to get, and there still are definitely more in here. It's just so hard to catch them right now because there's not that many left, and they're in a very big area, and they're very quick. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is periodically when I come out here, I'll just try to get what I can. But I think this will be all I'll do for today. Alright guys, so I'm ready to get these guys into this tank. I would love to put them into this tank just because there's more room and everything, but it's just not established to handle like more fish than it already has. This tank, technically, in my opinion, I think it will be overstocked. I just think it'll do a better job of handling the little extra bio load than this tank over here, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and drip acclimate these guys. Alright guys, so I know there's like a huge glare on that side of the tank, but the fish are in. And just really quick, I just want to show you these parameters. I went ahead and checked the ammonia again of this tank. It looks like we are still at 0.25 parts per million ammonia, and that is in the 15 gallon. In this bin right here, I went ahead and checked nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia, and check this out. Ammonia, we jumped up to 1 parts per million, which I can say I'm not 100% surprised. Check out this. Still 0 nitrites and still 0 nitrates. But those ammonia levels really jumped up, and I think that just means that more fish waste is being produced than what these plants can handle. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to show it on a video, but what I will be doing today is I will be going in here, doing a water change. I'm going to try to vacuum up a lot of that plant debris down there, some of that fish waste down there, and just continue to monitor those ammonia levels as often as possible. If I really need to, I'll even put some guppies into the 15 gallon to lighten that bio load a little bit. And the last time I did check the parameters was like 2 days ago, so I mean it hasn't been that bad for that long. But it's just one of those things, you know, I gotta keep an eye on things, gotta maintain it until those sponge filters can kind of like establish themselves, which can take a long time. So anyways guys, that's gonna be just about it for this video. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to go down there and give this video a like. I'd appreciate that so much. That would really help me out. And also, if you would like to keep up with my videos, remember guys, new fish videos every Friday, Fish Fridays. Make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button, and also hit that bell notifications button. Apart from Fish Fridays, I also have different kinds of content coming out on Mondays and Wednesdays, whatever Wednesdays, and Microphone Mondays, where I do like tech reviews. So stay tuned if that sounds like stuff that you might be interested in, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Peace.